Hey students, this is your notes video for lesson 2.4, rotations. So first, a rotation is a turn or a transformation in which a figure is rotated about a point called the center of rotation. The number of degrees that a figure rotates is called the angle of rotation. So in our first example, we are identifying a rotation. So it says we must rotate the puzzle piece 270 degrees clockwise about point P to fit into the puzzle. So here is our original figure and point P, and what we're going to do is rotate it clockwise. So that's going to be, think about a clock and the direction that it would turn. It's going to turn that direction, and you can look at this example here, this picture that shows this would be a 90-degree clockwise rotation, and if we keep going, that would be 180 degrees clockwise rotation, and if we go one more time, that gives us 270-degree clockwise rotation, which will be puzzle piece C. Now note that rotating 270 degrees clockwise is the same thing as going 90 degrees counterclockwise about point P. We would get to the exact same point. All right, next we're going to rotate a figure. So we're given the vertices of a trapezoid. We're going to go ahead and graph those points. So I've got -4, 2, -3, 4, -1, 4, and -1, 2. So here is my trapezoid, and I'm going to label the points W, X, Y, and Z. And I'm going to rotate this trapezoid 180 degrees about the origin. So as I rotate this, and I'm going to put my image in red, I'm going to start with Z as it's sort of the point that's closest to the origin. Notice that to get to Z, I'm going 1 to the left and 2 up. To rotate this 180 degrees, I'm going to go 1 to the right and 2 down. So this is going to be my Z prime right here. Let me go ahead and erase those little marks of where I was showing how to get to that point. And then we'll do the same thing for, we'll do Y next. So here with Y, I go 1 to the left and 4 up. And so for Y prime, I'm going to go 1 to the right and 4 down. Notice that the points Z and Y are 2 spaces apart. The points Z prime and Y prime are also 2 spaces apart. So we see that similarity. Okay, let's do point W next. So W, I'm going 4 to the left and 2 up. I'm going to go 4 to the right and 2 down. This is going to be W prime right here. Notice that WZY makes a right angle right here. And W prime, Z prime, Y prime also makes a right angle. And last I have point X, which was at -3, 4. So I'm going to go 3 to the right and 4 down, and this is going to be X prime right here. So I'm going to list my coordinates. So I have W prime, X prime, Y prime, and Z prime. W prime is at 4, -2. X prime is at 3, -4. Y prime is 1, -4, and Z prime is 1, -2. Now, if you look at our original points and look at the points of our image, you can see the similarities between them, right? It looks like whatever the X value was, we took the opposite of that for our new X value, and whatever the Y value was, we took the opposite of that for the Y value. That's how it works for a 180-degree rotation. If you did 90 degrees or 270, it would be a little bit different. All right, on this next example, we're going to rotate a figure again. This time, instead of rotating it about the origin, we're going to rotate it about one of the vertices of the actual shape. So let's go ahead and graph the shape. I have J at 1, 2, K at 4, 2, there's J, there's K, and L is at 1, -3, so there's L. Okay, and then I'm going to rotate this about vertex L, so about this point right here. So, and I'm going to rotate this 90 degrees counterclockwise. So remember that counterclockwise is the opposite of the direction that a clock turns, so I'm going kind of to my left. And the point L itself is going to stay exactly the same on our image since we're rotating about that point. So L prime is still going to be at 1, -3, just like it was on our original figure. Now J is straight up from L, right? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces up from L. So if I'm rotating this 90 degrees clockwise, J is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces to the left. So this is going to be J prime right here. So J prime is at -4, -3. Okay. And then I have K that looks like it's 3 units to the right of J. So I'm just going to go 3 units up, kind of make this same right angle that I had here. And I have my new figure. So you're kind of looking, when you're rotating about a point, you're going to look at where each point is in relationship to the other points in the figure. All right, and then last we're going to do an example that uses more than one transformation. So we have a rectangle. Let's go ahead and put those points on our graph. I have A at -3, -3, B at 1, -3. Whoops, that was at -1. Fix that. 1, -3 is going to be B. C is at 1, -5, so here's C. And D is at -3, -5. Okay, so here is our rectangle. And what we're going to do is first rotate that rectangle clockwise about the origin. So I'm going to do the image after the rotation in red. So I'm going to go clockwise, so that means I'm going this direction, right? Just like a clock, kind of from about where 6 o'clock is on the clock to it's going to end up being sort of around where 9 o'clock is on the clock. And I can look at this shape and see, maybe I'll start with point B. For point B, I'm going over to the right 1 and then down 3 to get to B. To get to B prime, I'm going to just sort of rotate all of that. Instead of starting on the x-axis going to the right, I'm starting on the y-axis going down, and I'm going to go over 1, down 1, and then over to the right 3. So this is going to be where B prime is. This is probably easier when you're doing it on a physical piece of paper, and we're going to look at some other strategies in class 2, but I want you to just kind of think about each point as you're starting this. Point C is kind of similar to where B is. It was over 1 and down 5, so we're going to go down 1 and over 5 to the left. So this is C prime right here. Okay, we know that we have a right angle, so we know this is going to be kind of, this is where that rectangle is going. And if we want, we could just count how many spaces are on this rectangle, right? The side is 4 spaces, and I can go up 4 and up 4. And then I can just complete that rectangle here. And I can look at how each of these points are rotating. So this is going to be my A prime over here, and this is going to be my D prime here. So I have A, B, C, and D. A prime, B prime, C prime, D prime. Now the second step is we're going to reflect this in the y-axis. All right, so we'll go ahead and use a green color for our reflection over the y-axis. We'll just do each point by point. So I'm going to start with A, and A is 3 points to the left of the y-axis. So A double prime here will be 3 points to the right. So A double prime is at 3, 3. We'll do B double prime next. So B prime is 3 to the left. We're going to go 3 to the right. So B double prime is at 3, -1. We'll do C next. We have to go over 5 units. So that's C double prime is at 5, -1. And D double prime next is up here, which is at 5, 3. We'll go ahead and connect the dots to make that rectangle of our image. All right, go ahead and try the on your own.